What's going on, Not Move Nation? Welcome to the Not Move podcast. Today's February 13th at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you to the supporters, subscribers, followers. We appreciate you guys. And thank you to the sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. I was listening to the Swag Show yesterday, right? Listening to the Swag Show yesterday, and he said that he just doesn't feel right if he has to cancel his show. He likes talking about football with you guys day in and day out, and I just didn't feel right if I didn't do a basketball show today. Now there are no basketball games. I mean, yeah, we got the dunk contest, 3-point contest on this weekend, but there are no real games on until Thursday. So but yeah, I just wanted to get on here and just talk about and kind of just look at these old school depth charts, man. I started watching ball back in probably that 97, 98 NBA season. I think, the first game I really remember was Michael Jordan hitting that shot against the Utah Jazz. Michael Jordan, who was that against? Utah. Game 6 of the 1998 finals. Brian Russell is who he crossed over there. So that's really like the first games that I used to watch, man. I used to get on here on some other platforms and talk about these old school NBA depth charts. And, there seems to be a little bit of people seem to like when I'm going over some of these players. Back in the 97-98 season, let's see, Atlanta had Steve Smith. Is that the guy who used to play with Portland? Let's look. Looking at like basketball.realgm.com. By the way, if you guys have any like questions or anything about anything that I talk about, or just have any questions in general, feel free to let me know. But yeah, Steve Smith used to play for the Atlanta Hawks back in this time period, 97-98 season. I remember him really playing with I think it was Portland. Steve Smith. Who else we got here? Dikembe Mutombo, excellent shot blocker. Let's see who else here. Antoine Walker. Yeah, he was pretty good. Bruce Bowen. He was on the Celtics back here in the 97-98 season, but he used to play with San Antonio. That's really where I remember Bruce Bowen. Who else we got here? David Wesley for the Charlotte Hornets. He had a pretty decent jumper. If that's the person I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of David West. David West. BJ Armstrong, Del Curry, Glenn Rice, man. He was a great 3-point shooter. Vlade Divac. I didn't know he played with Charlotte. I know him playing with the Kings. Matt Geiger, they had him he was on Charlotte, I guess. I remember him being a Philadelphia 76er. Looks like I'm lagging a little bit here. Hopefully it's not doing that for you guys on the other side here. Let me just take a look. Get on the phone here. Am I lagging? All right. Bulls, yeah, Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr, he used to be player. Now he's the coach of the Golden State Warriors. So this is back when I first started watching ball. Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Luke Longley. Who were your guys' favorite players back in this day? Ilgauskas for Cleveland. Michael Finley from the Mavericks. Sean Bradley. Kurt Thomas played for the Mavericks. I know him as a New York Knick. What else we got here? Yeah, I just want to come on here and talk a little bit of ball, go through these old school depth charts. Like I said, man, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. But Jerry Stackhouse used to roll with Detroit there. Scott Pollard used to play for Detroit. I remember him being a Sacramento King. Muggsy. Latrell Sprewell with the Warriors. I remember Muggsy being with Charlotte, Sprewell being with the Knicks. Hakeem the Dream, Olajuwon, Barkley back here. Mario Ellie. Didn't he used to play for like the Spurs, I think? I'm looking at the Rockets depth chart. I think he ended up going to San Antonio, though. Indiana Pacers, Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Dale Davis. Dale Davis wasn't like an offensive powerhouse, best I can remember. He was more of like a pretty solid defender. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Jalen Rose. One game that I remember, one series that I remember that comes up to mind was the Indiana Pacers versus the New York Knicks. I think it was a little bit after this, but Larry Johnson hitting that 4-point play and doing this little move here. Allen Houston's floating jumper to save the coach's job. Who was that against? Houston's running layup. The announcer was like, Houston, his running layup drives to the basket, and it's in. Allen Houston, game winner. Who was that against? Miami Heat. Yeah, I'm just looking at this 97-98 depth chart here for all these teams. The Lakers, man, they were pretty solid here. Derek Fisher, Eddie Jones. I remember Eddie Jones being on Miami Heat. Rick Fox, pretty good 3-point shooter, if I remember correctly. But Robert Horry, he's got to be the most clutch basketball player I've ever seen. Mr. Big Shot Bob. How many times? I think the coolest thing, and I did not like it at the time. I was rooting for whoever the Lakers were playing that day. I think it was the Kings. Yeah, it was the Kings, where Kobe drove to the bucket, missed it. Shaq got the board, put it up, missed it. Somebody tipped it out, and Robert Horry was just chilling at the top of the key, just hanging out. Ball. That's a great example of just let the ball come to you. You guys have probably heard that term before, just let the game come to you. Well, that's what happened with Robert Horry. He was just hanging out, and the ball just bounced his way, man. And he was so cool, calm, and collected after he did it. He's like, yeah, I've been here. I've been doing this, and I'm going to continue to do this. But yeah, I was going for the Kings at that time, Shaq, of course, Vashawn Leonard with the Miami Heat. He used to be, I'm a Nuggets fan, so Vashawn Leonard, that's where I know him from. I didn't know he would played for Miami, but that's good to know. Just looking back on this depth chart here, Tim Hardaway was that point guard for Miami back in this time, and his son Tim Hardaway Jr. plays with my Nuggets now, so it's cool seeing that. Jamal Mashburn, PJ Brown, Alonzo Mourning, Dan Marley, great 3-point shooter. Ray Allen for the Milwaukee Bucks. Yeah, that was. See, I wasn't watching like every game during this time, so I really know Ray Allen as a Seattle Supersonic. I remember he hit a like a game winner, big time shot against the Phoenix Suns in like double overtime. That was probably my one of my favorite memories of Ray Allen. And then of course, for the Miami Heat, um, when they missed that shot, he did that little step back in the corner, super clutch. Glenn Robinson, another great 3-point shooter, if I remember correctly. Anthony Peeler for the Minnesota Timberwolves. There was somebody that passed away for the Timberwolves. It wasn't in 97, 98. It was like, who was it, chat? Sean Elliott. Did he play with this? Was it Sean Elliott? No. Who? I think he played for the Timberwolves. Um, Mario. What NBA player passed away on the Timberwolves? It's like it says Sealy. I feel like it was somebody else though. Maybe it was the Spurs. I don't know. I'll maybe be able to find it once I come across his name if I do. Kerry Kittles. This was back when it was the New Jersey Nets. Keith Van Horn. Sam Cassell. I know him really being a Milwaukee Buck. I was talking with JB earlier. I was like, hey man, we should you know, do a show about like old school NFL players, especially at this time. We have a week until I'm, starting back up talking about the usual stuff I talk about, statistics and whatnot. Um, Charles Oakley, Chris Childs, Charlie Ward, these old school New York Knicks, man. Patrick Ewing, Chris Dudley. I remember Chris Dudley, man. I think he was the guy who threw the ball at Shaq, right? Dudley. But I remember like he hurt his hand one year and he was like shooting with his left hand and he was like shooting free throws with his left hand. And I think he was a pretty bad free throw shooter to begin with, but then he was limited to using his non-dominant hand and was shooting free throws with his left hand. It was pretty ugly. Like I said, man, I got respect for all these guys. I mean, you have to have some sort of a level of talent to get into the NBA and some sort of discipline, some sort of drive, you know. Bo Outlaw, Orlando Magic, Horace Grant, Penny Hardaway. See, I don't really remember watching too much of Penny Hardaway. AI with Philly, of course. My favorite memory of AI, man, is I remember I went to go see a Nuggets game there in Denver, and this was before Allen Iverson was a Denver Nugget, and he Allen, it was on like New Year's Day. It was whatever year, but you know, Iverson dropped like 51 points, and that was pretty crazy. You know, the smallest guy on the floor doing the most dropped like 51 points that game. Um, Nuggets ended up winning. That's back when the Nuggets had, Carmelo, Nene, and uh, J.R. Smith. Tim Thomas played for the Sixers. Looks like. See, I know him as a Milwaukee Buck. I kind of forgot about him. Yeah, Tim Thomas was kind of fire. Eric Snow, Theo Ratliff, Steve Nash. Yeah, man, I loved watching Steve Nash. I mean, this was a little bit before the Amari Stoudemire days, but Nash and Stoudemire, they were fire. Jason Kidd, Cliff Robinson. I'm just going through listing some names, man, that you guys may have not heard in a while. I don't know if you guys are maybe you're bored or just want to hang out. But I had to come on here and talk about ball like like Swag was talking about yesterday on his show. He just doesn't feel right unless he does a show. That's pretty much where I'm at. Arvidas Sabonis, and this isn't something, basketball isn't something that I just picked up a couple years ago. You know what I mean? I've been watching ball since I was a kid, man, since I can remember. Arvidas Sabonis, Sabonis's dad used to rock with Portland there. Rasheed Wallace, man, that was just somebody that you didn't want to mess with. Rasheed Wallace. And then when he went to Detroit, back here, he was a Portland Trailblazer. Then he went to Detroit, and they had who did Detroit have? Him and Ben Wallace. Yeah, you didn't want to mess with those guys. But yeah, Damian Stoudemire was good, man, for Portland. I think they went up against like the Lakers or something one year, and that was a pretty good series. Maybe it was the Spurs. I don't know. They were just really outmatched, but Damian Stoudemire just kind of kept him in some of the games. Mitch Richmond, didn't he go to UConn? No, this is a different. I think there are two different Mitch Richmonds. Avery Johnson. Oh, this is Anthony Johnson. I liked, Avery Johnson. What's up, everybody? Oh, here he is with the Spurs. Yeah, see, the Spurs were fire back. Maybe not this soon, but man, they were dominant, dude. The Spurs and the Lakers growing up, man, it just seemed like always those two. Yeah, Avery Johnson, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Sean Elliott, Seattle Supersonics. Yeah, Peyton Shrimp, Marcus Camby. I didn't know he was a Toronto Raptor. I know him, being really first the New York Knicks, and then going to Denver. Tracy McGrady, Doug Christie. And then Utah, they were loaded. Ostertag, Carl Malone, the mailman, Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton, the Vancouver Grizzlies. Hey, what's up? Good. How are you? Yeah, I'm just going over some old NBA players. I usually talk about, like statistics on a day to day basis for the NBA, but there's no games on until Thursday. So I'm just kind of looking through these old school depth charts, getting my daily basketball, talking about daily basketball fixing. Rod Strickland. All right, let's move on to a different year here. Let's fast forward a couple years. I've met some good people, man, just talking like I am now, just talking about like depth charts and stuff, old school depth charts. Made some good friends on the internet just, talking about this stuff. Uh yeah, Paul Pierce, man, for the Celtics. I'm looking at the 2001 depth charts now. Paul Pierce. He was so clutch. I used to play ball when I was growing up, man, and I tried to kind of mimic my shot after him. I loved his follow through. There was really, no other shot like him. And it looked good too. It wasn't like a Marcus Camby to the side, ugly shot. You know what I mean? But Marcus Camby had made that work for him. Really, it seemed like Camby was automatic, like along the baseline. That 15-foot baseline jumper to the side of the basket. Baron Davis. Yeah, I mean, we got the dunk contest coming up. I'm looking at this Baron Davis for the Hornets back in 2000, 2001. He was a good dunker. Uh, Shoot, man, I've been streaming for, I don't know, a couple years now. But if you're talking about just today, 23 minutes, but I would assume you're talking about like just in general. Yeah, I started off like streaming, like like selling sports picks and stuff, and then I'd get on the streams and start doing shows. Now I've got away from the selling sports pick stuff because I just want to give you guys this information for free. You know, I don't want. There's a lot of different reasons why. Also, people used to like pay me for subscriptions to my picks and stuff, but I felt like I was kind of walking on eggshells whenever I would do my live streams because they'd be paying me for information. So I was like a little limited about what I could talk about on the air. So uh, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why I stopped doing that, and maybe one day I'll do it again, but I don't think so. I like just what I'm doing right now. But if you guys, I mean, ever want to know what I think about a game or anything, feel free to message me. I'm on a bunch of different other platforms. I'm on a bunch of different platforms, better betters. Yeah. Let's see what else here. Just looking at these old school depth charts. Hey, thank you, and thanks for the follow. Do you watch any sports, Malkova Knight, Meta World Peace? See, I remember him as Ron Artest for the Pacers. I didn't know he played for the Bulls in 2000. Elton Brand. He was supposed to be really good coming out of college, and I don't know if it was injuries. I think he still did okay, just not that. I think we were expecting more for him from him. Same with like Greg Oden. You know, I wouldn't compare him with Greg Oden though. No shade to you, Greg Oden, if you're watching this, man. Like I said, I got respect for all these players, but Andre Miller, I didn't know he played with the Cleveland Cavs. Obviously, I remember him with my Nuggets. I think so many people say that Andre Miller is underrated that he is no longer underrated. That was like the hot take, but too many people had that take. So now everybody knows who he is. There was a game when he played for Portland. If you guys haven't seen the highlights, man, it's awesome to see. I think he dropped like 50 something points. Andre Miller 52-point game. It was against the Mavericks on January 30th, 2010. If you guys haven't seen the highlights to that, and whenever I looked at the highlights, the quality of the video quality was low a little bit. It was kind of bad, but I mean, he just went off that game. And then they do a post game interview with him, and he's just like, just the most soft spoken dude. Hey, I'm just with my teammates, and this was a team victory. Yeah, Andre, you just dropped 52 points, my man. There was no team victory about that. No. Uh, Chris Mim, where did he play college? Self trivia question here. Hey, thank you. Yeah, buddy, you can get subscription by streaming consistently. Cool. Appreciate that. Um, Chris Mim. Wasn't he with like Texas or something? See, I used to watch college basketball. I really don't anymore for a lot of reasons. The main reason being is I have to put my time into like statistics and getting that information for you guys. If I had some more time, I'd probably watch a little bit more college ball. Texas. Yeah, man, I remember. And he was supposed to be really good, like those other guys I was just talking about, Greg Oden, and I forgot who the other guy was, but yeah, he just didn't pan out to be what we thought he would. Steve Nash for the Mavericks, Michael Finley, Juwan Howard, Dirk, Sean Bradley, Eduardo Nahara, who ended up playing with my Nuggets. He was all right, I suppose. Nick Van Axel. See, this is when I was really becoming a Nuggets fan. When the Nuggets were the worst team in the NBA. I'm not a bandwagon Nuggets fan whenever Melo came along or Jokic. No, this goes before that. I started watching the Nuggets back when they had, and Van Axel, Vashawn Leonard, James Posey, McDyess, Rafe LaFrentz, George McLeod. Detroit Pistons, Jerry Stackhouse, Ben Wallace, Antoine Jameson for the Warriors back in the 2000-2001 season. I remember Antoine Jameson, I think, as a Wizard. Did Antoine Jameson play as a Wizard? No, I don't play any. I don't play any games. I just I usually talk about statistics with like NBA, NFL, and MLB. Those three major sports. But we don't have any games on until Thursday. So I'm just getting on here looking at like some old depth charts, NBA depth charts, like who was playing in the NBA back in the 2001 season is where I'm on right now. Giving people a chance. Thanks. Giving people a chance to come in here and maybe ask me some questions or just hang out for a little bit. I was listening to a podcast yesterday and this guy was like, I just don't feel right if I don't do my daily show. It messes my day up. So I can relate to that. So that's a main reason why I'm on here. Just to come up here, hang out with you guys for a minute, talk about some old school players, see if you guys had any questions. And I got something cool that I think you guys will like. I'm working on something. I think you guys might enjoy that. We'll see if I can do a show about that within before Thursday comes around. Jermaine O'Neal, Jalen Rose, Reggie Miller, Travis Best. I think I remember him. Derek McKee. Didn't he play with Philadelphia? I could have sworn. Derek McKee. Did Derek McKee play for Philadelphia? Yes. From the from the United States. What about you? Al Harrington, Sam Perkins. Sam Perkins, yeah, he used to play for the Pacers back here, but um, he's talking. I remember him being. I think he was with Boston as well, but now he's like on ESPN talking and stuff. The Clippers, Lamar Odom, Keon Dooling. How many of you guys remember Keon Dooling? He used to play for the University of Missouri. He was good for Missouri too. For those of you who watched college basketball back then, yeah, it was Keon Dooling and Ricky Paulding for the Mizzou Tigers, and there was that 3-point shooter, Clarence Gilbert. Yeah, those guys were fire. Gilbert, man, he was one of the best 3-point shooters I've ever seen. Steph Curry's got to be the best, though. And I don't even know if Clarence Gilbert made the NBA. Did Clarence Gilbert go to the NBA? He was not drafted. Quentin Richardson, I think he was a pretty decent 3-point shooter, if I remember correctly. Oliver Candy for the Clippers. I didn't know Earl Boykins played for the Clippers. I remember him being a Denver Nugget. Corey Maggette and Darius Miles. I feel like Darius Miles was in a movie. What movie is Darius Miles in? The Perfect Score is the movie that Darius Miles was in. They're saying Van Wilder too. I don't remember that movie too well, But I remember the perfect score. You're from the UK. Really enjoying the podcast. Thank you. Are you? Do you like sports at all? Are you looking forward to the World Cup or anything? I know a lot of people are interested in that World Cup. Um, I don't watch soccer a whole lot. I think you would call it football over in the UK. I don't watch a whole lot of football, but I'm familiar with it. I know some players. That just wasn't my main interest growing up. Back here looking at the Lakers lineup. Minnesota. Was it Anthony Peeler? Wally Zerbiak? Keith Van Horn. I might have to move up a few years here because we're kind of going over the same players. Yeah, let's go to like the 2003, 2004 season. Boris Diaw for the Atlanta Hawks. I remember him when he was with the Phoenix Suns, and he was more of that like a role player for Phoenix. But man, he was really good when Steve Nash and Stoudemire were with Phoenix. Who were some other guys for Phoenix? Like Raha Bell. So what year would that be? Like 2007, 2008? Let's go look at that Phoenix Suns depth chart. Raha Bell, Leandro Barbosa. This was one of the better teams that I saw that didn't win a championship. I mean, Shaq even played with them. Amari Stoudemire. Yeah, they were fun to watch, man. Leandro Barbosa had that awkward looking shot, man, but it was like it seemed like it went in all the time. Just like that straight away. Yeah, buddy, I love sports like football, cricket, and badminton. Okay. Um, I got a buddy who plays cricket, professional cricket. That's cool. Hey, thanks, thanks. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm just getting on here talking about a little bit of ball. Don't have any games on until Thursday, but Portland Trailblazers 2007, Steve Blake. Did he play college ball at Iowa State? Is that right? Steve Blake, college. I think it was, okay, Maryland. The Maryland Terrapins. Brandon Roy, pretty good 3-point shooter. I think he was supposed to be pretty good coming into the league. He was all right. Aldridge. Jarrett Jack. I think Jarrett Jack was in college. See, this is back when I watched a little bit more college basketball. I think Jarrett Jack played for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, yeah. Just kind of like quizzing myself here, see if I remember where these guys played. Oh, Channing Frye. He used to play with Phoenix too, I think. Or maybe I know he was with Cleveland there for a little bit. I could have sworn he played for Phoenix at one point. He was pretty decent. He was like a bigger guy that could shoot that three ball still. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I don't mind at all. See Spurs back here. The Spurs ended up getting Robert Ory, Manu Ginobili, Matt Bonner. Matt Bonner was okay, I guess. He was a big dude that could knock down the three. Ginobili was pretty smooth, man. Tony Parker and Ginobili were I didn't like them, man, and they were really good. They were really good. Nick Collison. I know he used to play for the University of Kansas, but yeah, he was a Seattle Supersonic. Kevin Durant, Earl Watson, Luke Ridenour. Ridenour used to be able to shoot that three ball pretty decently. Toronto Raptors, Chris Bosh, Jose Calderon, Utah Jazz, Andre Karolinko. So that would be like I would compare Andre Karolinko to like Markkinen right now. Back in the day, Andre Karolinko. If you guys don't remember who that is, oh, I don't. I don't have Discord. Let's see, Paul Millsap. I remember him being with Utah. He ended up going to like Atlanta or something like that. Brendan Haywood. I think he played college ball at North Carolina. Brendan Haywood College, University of North Carolina. Let's fast forward a little bit more here. 2010, 2011 season. Like I said, man, sometimes I just like coming back here and looking at these lineups, man. Just thinking about some of these games that these guys used to play. Rajon Rondo, very good passer. Paul Pierce, Garnett. See, these guys were a problem back then. DJ Augustine. Didn't he go to college at Texas? Yep. Sean Livingston. Look, he did suffer one of the most brutal injuries I've ever seen before, Sean Livingston. But when he ended up making that comeback and started playing for the Clippers, his jump shot was just automatic. Yeah, I have a Twitter. It's BETRBETRS. Um, Chicago Bulls 2010-11 depth chart. Derrick Rose, Luau Dang. See, I remember Luau Dang at Duke, right? With like Shane Battier. Who else was good for Duke back then? I can't remember, but Carlos Boozer. There was another guy though too. Joakim Noah, Kyle Corver was pretty good at shooting that three. Ronnie Brewer, I think he ended up going to the Nuggets too and played for a little bit. C.J. Watson feels like Scalabrini. Verjao. Sean Marion's the one who had the ugly. I mean, I think he's got like a top 5 ugly shot, in my opinion. Sean Marion, Marcus Camby. That's what we need to do. We need to make a top 10 list of the prettiest shot, and then top 10 list of the ugliest shot. I got to put Sean Marion up there in the ugliest shot, and Camby. Did Shaq's free throw qualify for ugliest shot? Yeah. I think that's it. Hold up real quick. Be right back. Let me go see what my Twitter is. BETR, BETRS, BETR. BETRS. There you go. Yeah, feel free to message me on there if you have any questions or just want to contact me, guys. Okay. Yeah, JJ Barea. Tyson Chandler was actually pretty decent, man. What teams did Tyson Chandler play for? Wasn't it like Charlotte? Yeah, Hornets. Yeah, he was pretty good with the Hornets. With like Chris Paul, I think they played together. Along with, I think it was David West too. Aaron Aflalo, Ty Lawson, Danilo Gallinari, Wilson Chandler. I thought Wilson Chandler was fire. During this season, during this time, man, I kind of thought, Wilson Chandler should have started over Gallinari. Kenyon Martin. I mean, he played for the University of Cincinnati, suffered that injury, came back. He was pretty solid, man. That was another guy you really didn't want to mess with. You know, I feel like I'd put him maybe not up there with like Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace, but pretty close. You know, when you're looking at players that you really didn't want to piss off. Raymond Felton. I think he was with the Charlotte Bobcats. That's where I remember him from. Costa Kufis. Timothy Mozgov. Yeah, Birdman Chris Anderson. He was fun, man. Yeah, Costa Kufis, Timothy Mozgov. Those were some good players. And a lot of people, I mean, we'll get into it here in a second, but like some people forget that Nurkic and Jokic played together there in Denver. Rodney Stuckey. Rip Hamilton, Richard Hamilton. Yeah, I think he played for UConn, right? Yep, UConn. I almost want to say that they won the national championship with him. Who's this? Tayshaun Prince. It's a name I haven't heard in a while. Tayshaun Prince. He had a smooth jumper. Charlie Villanueva, Ben Gordon. Yeah, I remember him playing with the Chicago Bulls. Where did he go to school? Wasn't he UConn too? Yep. Golden State Warriors, Chef Curry. Man, when Curry came out of college from Davidson, they had that magical run in the NCAA tournament with Steph Curry. Davidson did. And man, when he came into the league, I just knew he was going to be something special. And some of my friends will tell you, like, I've been calling out Curry since day one. I didn't think he'd necessarily be this good, but Jeremy Lin Sanity. My favorite memory of him is probably hitting that game winner. I think it was against Toronto at the top of the key. Yao Ming for the Rockets. Dragic. Roy Hibbert. There we go. Roy Hibbert. Man, where did he play college? I want to say like Georgetown. Yep, Georgetown. Tyler Hansborough. That was North Carolina, right? And he was another guy that was supposed to be a little bit better than what he was. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll come back and give you a follow over there too. There you go. I just gave you a follow back. Appreciate it. Thank you. What else here? Darren Collison. Man, where did he play college? I don't know. UCLA. I did know that. TJ4. Mike Dunleavy is that other Duke player that played for, with Boozer and all those other guys that I was talking about, right? Mike Dunleavy. He was a good 3-point shooter. Danny Granger. James Posey. Chris Kaman for the Clippers was actually pretty decent. I got to see the Clippers back when they had, this may have been a little bit too early, the 2010-11 season, or maybe a little bit too late. But yeah, I remember Chris Kaman. He was actually pretty decent. I think he's pretty underrated. Andrew Bynum. I forgot where Bynum went to school. St. Joseph High School, because he didn't go to college. I don't think. Luke Walton. Zach Randolph. He was all right. OJ Mayo. He was pretty good for, I think, like a year or two. Shane Battier. Ish Smith. Mario Chalmers. I think he hit like a big time shot for Kansas, right? Top of the key to like pretty much win the national championship. Yeah, this Miami Heat team was pretty good. Mike Bibby, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, Bosch, Udonis Haslam, Mike Miller, Juwan Howard. Andrew Bogut. I want to say he played for like Gonzaga or something. Utah. Andrew Bogut was all right. There's Keon Dooling again from Missouri. Michael Redd. I think he was that lefty, that left-handed shooter, right? Trying to see. Emeka Okafor used to play with the Hornets in the 2010 and 11 season. I remember him with UConn. Trevor Ariza, he played for the Hornets, I guess, this season too. I remember him more so being a Los Angeles Laker. Ronnie Turioff, didn't he play for UConn? Gonzaga. Yeah, he was a pretty big name coming out of college. Ronnie Turioff. I'm looking at the Knicks depth chart in the 2010 and 11 season. I mean, this Oklahoma City team at this time. I mean, how did they not win the championship? Westbrook, Kevin Durant. I think they had right Harden on this team. Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins, Nick Collison. How do you not win a championship? Who stopped him? It had to be like Kobe, right? And the Lakers. Had to be. Jameer Nelson with the Magic. He did play for the Nuggets there for a little bit too. Chris Duhon. I think he played for Duke too in college. Yep. Chris Duhon. Turkaloo. Yeah, JB and I are going to do a show like this, I think tomorrow, about NFL. It'll be nice talking with somebody else about these players a little bit too, you know. We're going to do it for NFL though, not NBA. Skip to my Lou Williams for Philly here. I remember him more so being like an Atlanta Hawk. Yeah, Channing Frye did play for Phoenix. I knew that. I knew that. Gortat. Um, Tony Parker, Duncan, McDice. Danny Green was really good for San Antonio. Oh, Bargnani for Toronto. He was supposed to be really good. He was like an overseas player, right, from Italy. And he was okay. Just I thought, people were talking about Bargnani being the next Shaq, basically. But he didn't really pan out to be that. Linus Kleza. Didn't know he played for Toronto, but yeah, he was from Lithuania. He played with the University of Missouri, and then he went to my Nuggets, kind of like Michael Porter Jr. But Michael Porter Jr. is with he doesn't play with the Nuggets anymore, but yeah, Kleza was cool. There was a game winner that Kleza hit one time, and I think it may have been against Toronto. He got the rebound and like ran backwards. It was kind of like that dude for Indiana, his buzzer beater, Tyrese Halliburton, where he just like kind of ran towards the basket and then he ran back and turned around and shot. It was kind of like that. Linus Kleza. John Wall with the Wizards. JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee was good. Yeah, he would make blunders, big mistakes. You know, we all know about that shacked and a fool stuff. But when he didn't make those big mistakes, he was actually really, really good. I got to see a lot of JaVale McGee playing with the Nuggets, and there were times that it was just like, "Oh my gosh, dude, what are you doing?" But more times than not, dude, he was He was dominating, to be honest with you. Yeah. Don't be talking trash on JaVale McGee. And then we got the 2015-16 season here. I'm probably just gonna get off the airwaves here pretty soon, guys. But yeah, Jeff Teague, Kirk Heinrich. I remember him playing for Kansas. Oh man, he had quite the 3-point shot. Kirk Heinrich. That was like the worst thing college basketball ever did is take away that rivalry between Missouri and Kansas. I mean, I know Kansas kind of owned that rivalry, but I miss seeing those games every year. I don't know if they still have those yearly games. Kenton Bazemore, his shot was kind of like Leandro Barbosa's a little bit. Mike Muscala. Amir Johnson for the Celtics. Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, Thaddeus Young for Brooklyn. Kimba Walker. Man, he took what UConn on that oh man, that documentary is awesome too. If you just watch how UConn, I'll try to remember to post it to my social media pages after I uh, in the live stream. But yeah, he took UConn on just a great NCAA tournament run, and I think they ended up winning the tournament as an 8 seed. Frank Kaminsky, where did he play college ball? It has to be one of the big schools. I mean, Wisconsin. I wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah, he played with the Hornets here. Nick Batum, who I think is still around, right? Miritich, Taj Gibson. I'm looking at the Bulls now. Cleveland, Kyrie, Delavadova, Shumpert, Mozgov, Tristan Thompson, Darren Williams for the Mavericks. I know him more so as like a Utah Jazz. When I think of Darren Williams, I'm thinking Utah Jazz. Emmanuel Mudiay. I think he hit one time like a half court buzzer beater game winner for the Nuggets. That was fire. Kenneth Fareed was very energetic. And here we go. 2015-16, Nurkic and Jokic played on the same team, Nuggets. And I remember talking with somebody around that time, and they asked me like, "Who do you think the Nuggets should get rid of, Jokic or Nurkic?" I mean, that seemed like a pretty valid question at that time. I remember just saying, we got to keep Jokic. We got to keep Jokic. I like Nurkic. I don't want to get rid of Nurkic. Now Nurkic is out here dropping a triple double every night. So I mean that's good to see. I like seeing that for Nurkic. Will Barton wasn't a big like Jameer Nelson fan back then with the Nuggets. Really, Moutier was all right. Gary Harris was great for the Nuggets there for a little bit. And then I don't know what happened to him, man. Darrell Arthur. underrated nugget, kind of. Yeah, I'll check. I'll check my Twitter here in just a minute. What's what's cool? Yeah, I just checked my Twitter. Let's see. Steve Blake, Marcus Morris, Festus Azili played with the Warriors. He used to play with the Nuggets too. He was backup to Bogut on the Warriors. Sean Livingston, Brandon Rush. I think he played for Kansas too, right? Yeah. See, it's cool just going back and looking at this stuff. I think, especially when we have like a week until regular season ball starts back up. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be looking at some other stuff with the analytics and stuff. I gotta like prep and whatnot, but Cole Aldridge, I know he played with Kansas. Austin Rivers, his dad at least used to coach the Clippers. I don't know if he still does. I don't think so. I don't think he coaches anymore. Jordan Clarkson came from the University of Missouri as well. That would be like the two guys that I think probably had the, and I could be wrong, but they're like the best NBA career so far that came out of the University of Missouri is Jordan Clarkson and Michael Porter Jr. But I think Michael Porter Jr. takes the cake. Julius Randle, let's not forget he used to play with the Lakers. Jordan Farmar, I think he ended up playing with the Lakers too, but they got him listed here as a Grizzly in the 15-16 season. Vince Carter, he used to play with the Grizzlies. I remember him just being a Toronto Raptor, a New Jersey Net there with Jason Kidd. This had to be near the end of his career, right? Against the playing with the Grizzlies, it had to be. I mean, at the time, dude, that Vince Carter were near the dunk contest, right? That had to be the best dunk I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, Aaron Gordon dunking over the mascot is a better dunk. And that dunk was great. I mean, but Vince Carter at that time when he dunked, when he had the ball under his leg, that was really unheard of at the time. I remember people talking about doing that dunk before, but nobody really tried it. And yeah, when he did that, I just remember being like, "Whoa." That's got to be one of the top dunk moments for me. I mean, Vince Carter dunking over that 7 foot, however tall that guy was, 7'4" guy in the Olympics was awesome. But just the creativity at that time, it was like when like the GTA 2 video game came out, or GTA 3 on PS2. I mean, to me, that game was just like I've never seen anything like it before. I thought it was the greatest thing of all time when it first came out. That's the same way I was feeling about Vince Carter when he did that dunk in the dunk contest between his legs. I see Kobe Bryant here, man. I did get to see Kobe Bryant play a game one time. It was a playoff game, Western Conference Finals against my Nuggets. And dude, Kobe Bryant with about a minute left. I think the Nuggets were up by 2 points with about a minute left in the game. I think there was probably less than a minute left. And J.R. Smith was defending him, and he was pretty far back from the 3-point line. It was like a Steph Curry distance type of three, and Kobe just pulled up, and you could just hear it was in Denver too. You could just hear the stadium, just the arena, just deflate, man. It was 1 second. It was noisy. Right after he makes that shot, man, you could hear a pin drop, and that was pretty much it. I mean, we didn't. That was tough, man. That was tough being a Nuggets fan. Then I'm thankful that the Nuggets won a championship eventually. But I thought they had a decent chance to do it against Kobe, man, to get advanced in the Western Conference Finals. Josh McRoberts, he used to play with the Lakers, right? I think he was a left-handed shooter as well. Josh McRoberts. Justice Winslow, he was all right. Bregman, Moreau. Ricky Rubio. I remember, man, I just kind of had this thing going on with my friend at the time. I think the Timberwolves were like 14-point underdogs. And, we had a little something going on the side. And Rubio, I ended up just taking the Timberwolves just straight up, man, to win the game. And they were like 14-point underdogs. I remember Rubio hit a buzzer beater for the win, and I was on the Timberwolves, and that was a great moment for me. Tyreek Evans, I remember him being, I think he was a Sacramento King. He was all right, man. Norris Cole, he was Kansas, right? Could have sworn Norris Cole played for Kansas. Did Norris Cole play for Kansas? No. Why am I relating Norris Cole to? Maybe because he played with Miami when Chalmers played there. I think that's it. Jose Calderon. Remember him more being a Toronto Raptor. I see him on the Knicks here. Vujicic, Sasha Vujicic. It has have him as as a New York Knick here. I think he played for the Lakers. No. Andre Roberson. That was the weak player on in that starting five for Oklahoma City there. Russell Westbrook, Andre Roberson, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams. Then they had Enos Cantor. Now he's called Enos Freedom, but yeah, I know him as Enos Cantor. He was pretty good, man. Steven Adams and Cantor were good. Evan Fournier, okay. Shabazz Napier. He played for like Gonzaga or UConn. UConn. Nerlens Noel. Robert Covington. He was a pretty solid player there for Philly. I liked Covington. Amino? Who is this? Al Farouk Amino. Ben McLemore, didn't he play for Kansas? Yeah. He was a Sacramento King. I don't remember Rajon Rondo with the Kings. Rudy Gay. This was a good Spurs team, man. Tony Parker, Patty Mills, Danny Green, Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, David West, Aldridge, Boris Diaw. Yeah, they were fire. Yeah, Valanciunas. I remember him a lot from Toronto. I think he's good, man, with the Nuggets. I like Valanciunas. Damari Carroll. I remember him being an Atlanta Hawk. I think he was a Hawk, right? I got him as a Raptor here. Rodney Hood. I think he like won me a fantasy something or other one year, like a daily fantasy thing. Alec Burks. I think he was from Colorado, right? Derek Favors. I think we expected more from Derek Favors. Otto Porter, Gortat, Drew Gooden played for Kansas, right? Yeah. Kansas has had just so many players going to the NBA. I think the probably like the best one of all time. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's probably Paul Pierce. Then we're getting into just kind of more like the newer age basketball. But yeah, I think JB sometime soon. We're just gonna get on here and talk about just some players that we grew up watching in the NFL and all that stuff. Just try to think some ways to you know keep the show going for you guys and not just wait until the games start back up in a week. Like I said, I got an idea for you guys that I think you might like, and keep thinking about stuff. But worst case scenario, we can come on here, hang out with each other, and give you guys an opportunity to ask me some questions. If you ever have any questions and just don't want to be that guy that types it into chat, you can always hit me up on any of those social media platforms. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Good luck today. Thanks for those follows. If you could hit that subscribe button on your way out, we'd appreciate that. Also, thank you to the sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll see you soon.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.